Good evening and welcome to Newswatch on Hope TV, where you look and live. It is Thursday, the 4th day of November 2021, a day when some parts of the world mark Use Your Common Sense Day, as well as National Men Make Dinner Day, where men must cook, no barbecue allowed. How interesting is that? We are coming to you live from Valley Road in Nairobi. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tess Njenga and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. These are the day's stories. Tension has gripped the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority KEMSA staff who have been directed to work from home as the authority undergoes reforms. In a notice, KEMSA board says the release of non-essential staff is aimed at facilitating the review of operations in the state of agency amidst revelations of poor performance by the institution in execution of its mandate. In the latest move, most staff members fear they could lose their jobs. Grace Wangoi starts us off with this story.
Anxiety still remains high at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, following Thursday's meeting that saw staff be informed of drastic changes in authority by the authority's board. The meeting saw the board reveal findings that were made by a special task force formed in July this year that identified financial crisis as part of the limiting factor to the authority's efficacy to supply drugs and medical supplies to its clients.
Was saying that
according to the Auditor General report of the financial year 2018-2019, KEMSA had employed 791 employees, for 50 more than the recommended number for employment. The KEMSA board, in what seems to be the best solution for the financial crisis, has now recommended the restructuring of the organization. To this effect, non-essential staff are to work from home for the next 1 month, even as the board announced there was going to be a job evaluation and role redesignation. According to reports, during the 30 days, operations at the authority will be taken over by the National Youth Service, NYS. The board has been operational since early April this year and was formed to provide an independent operating recovery strategy for KEMSA to facilitate organizational effectiveness.
All non-core staff members have been released to work from home as the necessary consultations progress. The core operating teams and our caretaker management team have been notified, appointed, and mobilized to ensure seamless operations in the intervening period. The board confirms that the necessary interventions have been put in place to avoid undue disruptions to service delivery and the day-to-day operations of KEMSA.
However, the news of working from home has not been received well by some KEMSA staff in the procurement department. Anthony Shege, who works in the department, which he says has at least 50 other members, alleges that working from home is an indirect way of laying them off because they are unable to execute their work while at home. It comes as no surprise that part of the challenges facing the authority enumerated by the board was procurement chaos.
I'll be working from home as per the directive from the board, although I don't know the kind of work which I'll be working from home, because the work which we normally do here as the procurement, it involves documents, and those documents are here. And the documents, the public documents, and nobody is allowed to go with them out of this organization. So whatever we'll be working from home, maybe this is just a sack. There's no working from home. This is sacking. No working from home. Our work involves working from here. We engage the suppliers from here.
More challenges revealed by the KEMSA board chair, Mary Mwadime, was supply chain crisis and warehousing and distribution chaos. To this, Mwadime says, despite the reorganization, the authority was going to work round the clock to ensure there was no disruption to service delivery.
KEMSA, as an authority, is currently grossly underperforming and largely unable to meet clients' urgent needs, particularly the delivery of essential medicines and products to the counties, referral hospitals, and to the programs. This has indeed endangered the lives of Kenyans. The board has issued general notice letters to all staff working with KEMSA this morning.
Grace Sangoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Grace, for that report. To some politics, Ford Kenya Party held its National Delegates Conference today despite an order by the Political Parties Disputes Tribunal, PPDT, that suspended it. The conference was convened by the party leader Moses Wetangula, who told the delegates that the party remains strong despite leadership wrangles from a faction of the party led by Kandui MP Wafula Wamunyinyi. One person was shot during the conference after he reportedly tried to disrupt the meeting held at the Bomas of Kenya, with the Wamunyinyi faction criticizing the meeting. Dickens Luvanda brings us details about the conference, which saw Moses Wetangula declared the Ford Kenya presidential candidate in the 2022 general elections.
At least one person was shot and seriously injured during Ford Kenya Party's National Delegates Conference NDC held at the Bomas of Kenya on Thursday in Nairobi County. A man believed to be a bodyguard to one of the politicians at the delegates conference was arrested after the shooting, with the injured being rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. Led by party leader Moses Wetangula, Ford Kenya, which has been experiencing leadership wrangles, held the NDC despite an order by the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal following a petition filed on Wednesday. The tribunal said that it suspended the NDC pending the hearing and determination of the petition filed by one Christmas Barasa under a certificate of urgency.
Our Ford Kenya leadership of Usawa, Haki na Ukweli, we believe that a child in Mandera is entitled to what a child in Lavington in Nairobi is entitled to.
A faction led by Kandui Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi and Tongaren Member of Parliament Eseli Simiyu earlier in the day dismissed Wetangula's NDC, saying it was held contrary to a court order whose hearing is set for November 15th.
Members were supposed to be arriving from yesterday for our NDC, scheduled for 6th. Yesterday afternoon, we received an order served to the Secretary General from the Political Parties Tribunal suspending our scheduled NDC. We are also aware that that order also suspends the NDC scheduled by the Wetangula faction. We are aware that the other faction is going ahead to hold an NDC in total violation of the court order.
Though we are aggrieved by the orders stopping our meeting, we shall abide by the orders as we have previously respected all orders. We are a law-abiding party and we intend to keep that way.
Wamunyinyi splinter faction NDC meeting was slated for this Saturday at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani.
It's unfortunate that the party has been ensnared in court matters for the last 1.5 years, and that does not augur well for the party. Please, when you listen to Senator Moses Wetangula, from now henceforth, listen, take everything with a pinch of salt.
The Bomas of Kenya conference saw the over 2,000 delegates declare Wetangula as Ford Kenya's 2022 presidential flag bearer, therefore making him the fourth One Kenya Alliance OCA principal to be ratified by his party to vie for the presidency.
So my advice to you as principals, please build trust. Ford Kenya will be very keen and will be the driver in rejuvenating and enhancing the cooperation in the East African region.
Invited guests at the NDC included Wetangula's co-principals in the One Kenya Alliance.
This team seated here, Musalia, Wetangula, Kalonzo, and Gideon Moi, give us a presidential candidate through consensus. That is the only way.
Deacon Sluvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
Much appreciated, Dickens. The stalemate pitting the Council of Governors COG and the Commission on Revenue Allocation CRA over shareable revenue to counties in the next financial year continues, with each side maintaining a hard stance. On Tuesday, CRA dismissed a proposal by COG to raise the county revenue allocation by 381 billion Kenya shillings, saying it's not sustainable. As Dolly Murigi tells us, the governors insist that there is no justification for the CRA proposal.
The Commission on Revenue Allocation on Tuesday made recommendation concerning the basis for equitable sharing of national raised revenue between the national and county government. The Commission chairperson Jane Kiringai said that a number of counties have the potential to finance up to 50% of their own budget. For this reason, the Kiringai-led Commission has recommended that counties be allocated 370 billion for the financial year 2022-2023, the same amount they received for the current financial year.
Capacity to raise their own revenue is inbuilt in the formula, but that didn't see the light of within Parliament. But with that is the way we do it, and that is within the mandate that the Constitution gives us to infuse it through the formula. I want to believe that those that come after us may try to do it in the fourth formula, and we wish them well. But this is the way to do it in light of the constitutional levers or the legal levers that we have as a commission.
And governors have an issue with this, insisting there is no justification for the CRA proposal. According to COG, the issue of debt sustainability in the upcoming general election should not be cited by the Commission as a basis for revenue sharing. COG, through a statement on Thursday morning, reads, "We note that the recommendation on national shareable revenue is based on a projected revenue increase of 366.4 billion above the financial year 2021-2022, which was 1.8 trillion. We note that this increase has been allocated to the national government only. Based on a general consensus that counties should enjoy up to 35% of all revenue collected, COG says the county equitable share can go as high as 751 billion. The committee insists that the COVID-19 pandemic slowed down the economic growth in the country and that the county government have remained to be the key drivers of economic recovery. As such, it says the need for proper funding of county government cannot be overemphasized. If CRA recommendation sails through, governors said it will hamper adequate funding and service delivery to Mwananchi at the lowest level of governance. At the same time, the governors are calling on the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining and Parliament to expedite the enactment of a framework to guide the sharing of revenue from natural resources. Dolly Murigi, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Dolly. Moving on, Deputy President William Ruto has continued to criticize his competitors, saying none of them is ready to face him because they lack agenda for the country. Speaking earlier in Bungoma County, Ruto said his competitors were still hiding behind President Uhuru Kenyatta, perhaps waiting for endorsements. And as Alice Diana reports, the Deputy President wants his detractors to stop using deceitful political tactics aimed at tarnishing his reputation and instead sell their agenda to the people.
Deputy President William Ruto on Thursday took his hustler campaigns to Western Kenya in a bid to woo the residents to support his presidential bid come 2022. Speaking in various stopovers including Naitiri, Kamukuywa, Ndevisi, Matisi, Nalondo, Angurai and Kamolo during his empowerment tour of Bungoma and Busia counties, Ruto told his competitors to come up with their agenda and face him instead of banking on support from President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Na nimewaambia nyinyi, wacheni kukaa nyuma ya Uhuru Kenyatta rais. Wacha rais amalize kazi yake. Anafanyia kazi wa Kenya milioni 45. Nyinyi watu 6-7 tokeni nyuma ya Uhuru Kenyatta, kujeni pambana na mimi. Na musikuje bure. Kwanza mutengeneze candidate yenu. Wacheni kuzubaa na kusema amujui ni huyu, amujui ni huyu. Hii mutapoteza wakati, alafu mkipoteza kura mutaanza kusema tena imeibiwa. Ama namna gani? Na wakuje na candidate na watafute sera. Wasikuje tu na kitendawili na tibi.
The DP, who was accompanied by MPs Benjamin Washali of Mumias East, Didimas Barasa of Kimilili, Dan Wanyama of Webuye West, Mwambu Mabonga of Bumula, and John Waluke of Sirisia, wondered why his competitors were busy criticizing UDA's bottom-up economic model instead of coming up with their own. At the same time, the deputy president said it was time to end politics of conmanship and betrayal.
Hapana kuja chama ya kabila hii, wewe unatembeza chama ya kabila yako, huyu anatembeza ya kabila yake, huyu anatembeza ya kabila yake. Nyinyi mnagawanya nchi kwa chama ya kabila hii na ile na ingine. Nyinyi mtaunda serikali namna gani kwa hii chama ya kabila hii na kabila ile? Mbona wasiunganishe kama hii yetu ya UDA?
The legislators who accompanied Ruto told the Jubilee administration to stop wasting time and resources fighting leaders who left their party long time ago and urged the Luhya community to support Ruto for presidency, saying he was the only candidate who was committed to addressing challenges facing ordinary Kenyans.
Mambo ya vijana pamoja na William Ruto, tumepanga mambo ya wamama pamoja na William Ruto, na tumekubaliana ya kwamba from day one akiingia kwa ofisi kama rais, tunampa shiti yetu ya watu wa Bungoma, ile vitu ambavyo vimesama vyote. Huyu mtu ana nguvu, anakiri timamu, ukimwambia kitu anatekeleza na anashika papa hapo. Sisi kama viongozi wa Kenya mzima tulikaa chini tukaangalia kwamba shida za Wakenya ni gani, na tukaangalia agenda za wale presidential candidates wote, tukapata ule uko na agenda ya kusaidia Wakenya ni Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto.
For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
Thank you, Alice. To some education news. With the mission of educating and training Christ-like visionary leaders who spearhead holistic transformation in Africa and the world, the International Leadership University, ILU, has officially broken ground for the construction phase of its new campus in Kitengela, Kajiado County, which is set to meet the essential requirements for the award of a charter and will give the institution the capacity to equip an additional 3,000 students. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, it is a new dawn for the 40-year-old university, which has its main campus in Kilimani and exists for the purpose of developing and educating future leaders of integrity and vision who will become world changers and lead transformation in every facet of society.
It is a new dawn for the International Leadership University, as an ultra-modern seat of the institution is set to be constructed at this 40-acre piece of land in the heart of Kajiado County.
It signifies a new beginning for us, a new campus, new opportunities, multiplied engagements here in this county of Kajiado, in addition to our Kilimani campus. And we are grateful that for all the well-wishers who came, the support of the county government of Kajiado, and our organs and all the others who came, we are looking forward to this campus serving its purpose in furthering our mission of developing leaders of integrity.
The struggle for integrity has formed a major part of Kenya's recent governance history. Corruption, more so in leaders, has been a major national problem, leading to Kenya being ranked at position 124 in the World's Corruption Index. This is one of the reasons, as the Court of Appeal President Justice Daniel Musinga says, corruption in leaders must be addressed if Kenya has to progress. Justice Musinga has applauded the International Leadership University, saying that the institution will play a key role in nurturing leaders of integrity through holistic transformation.
The International Leadership University believes in raising leaders of integrity. And the biggest problem that we have in this country, in all sectors, is quality leadership, getting men and women of integrity. This country needs good leadership.
Deputy Governor of Kajiado County, Martin Moshishio, has expressed gratitude to the International Leadership University, saying that it is a blessing to the residents of Kajiado County, as many will benefit from it through employment opportunities and education.
This is a blessing not only to those who will come here to seek for knowledge, but also for the community who will be hosts for this great institution. This is already a step to make sure that Kajiado and especially Kitengela will have a new look. When we have such ultra-modern facilities around this place, it changes the face and raises the value of that very area.
This university has taken this step in pursuit of what the Commission for University of Education desires, and we feel very, very proud about the work that has been done, because the greatest thing that we are lacking in Kenya today is issues of leaders of integrity. And sometimes we blame government for being the one without leaders of integrity, but integrity is something in short supply in our country.
This was a vision that we had long ago, that we need to build an institution that will train men and women to be good governance and leadership. And that's why we bring the issue of integrity.
International Leadership University is a network of accredited universities, colleges, schools and ministries in Africa that has the common purpose and mission of educating and producing emerging national leaders of integrity. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Kajiado County.
Thank you, Kennedy, for that report. The Ministry of Health has announced that 149 people have tested positive for COVID-19 from a sample size of 5,500 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 2.7%. Total confirmed positive cases are 253,661, while cumulative tests so far conducted are 2,724,372. 131 patients recovered from the disease, with 103 from the home-based isolation and care program and 28 from various health facilities countrywide. Total recoveries stand at 247,156. Sadly, 14 people have succumbed to the disease, pushing the cumulative fatalities to 5,296. As of yesterday, a total of 5,482,089 vaccines have so far been administered across the country. Of these, 3,744,710 were partially vaccinated, while those fully vaccinated were 737,000. The proportion of adults fully vaccinated is 6.4%. And on that note, let's take our first commercial break on Newswatch tonight. We will be back with much more news.
This week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
Jesus touched lepers who were untouchable according to the law. He expressed compassion for a woman taken in adultery. He accepted the worship of a woman who was criticized because she poured perfume all over his feet. He touched the eyes of the blind and the ears of the deaf. He cast demons out of people who were violent. And during his final hours, he comforted a murderer who was nailed to a cross next to him, and after his resurrection, he reassured a doubting disciple and reestablished the disciple who had denied him. Jesus had no place in his heart for the cancel culture. He was wonderful at demonstrating God's love and grace to everyone, and ladies and gentlemen, he still is.
That's this week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
I will stand up before the congregation and testify of the wonderful things you have done.
I was on my knees, and that day, that is one thing that amazed me. For sure, God never lies.
Thank God, because it's only God's blessings that addeth no sorrow. Mimi naogopa dhambi.
On Testify, we bring to you real encounters with Christ, breathtaking experiences, and life-transforming testimonies.
We testify.
Nikamwambia Mungu,
Kumbuka nimekuwa katika njia zako. Kama kuna wakati wa kuniokoa ni huu.
Ni heri ni uwawe nizikwe na hawa tulizaliwa na wao.
Wewe unajua Waluya.
My husband did everything for me. For 4 years, I used to cry and pray to God because
Faulu ukiwa na Mungu.
Join me this and every Thursday at 8 p.m. on the program where our faith in Christ keeps growing. Right here at Hope TV, where you look and live.
Life is not the same again. We testify. We celebrate for all you've done.
Furahia na Optiven.
Dad, gari mpya.
Umetoa wapi gari mpya?
Optiven wametusort.
Optiven?
Nunua any of our value-added properties ama redeem installment ya property yako. Kwa kila malipo ya 10,000 unapata 1 entry point kwenye draw ya Furahia na Optiven promotion. Airtime kushindaniwa kila siku, holiday kila wiki, shinda ploti na gari kila mwezi, na grand prize ya Mercedes-Benz C180. Ni rahisi, buy ama redeem na ushinde na Furahia na Optiven.
A very warm welcome back. We are glad you're still with us. The border industry has been providing job opportunities for male youths for a long time. But with the high unemployment rate in the country, their female counterparts have also started venturing into the business. The few female operators in the country have been facing a lot of challenges, one of them being the fact that the industry is male-dominated. Eda Jepchumba Maswai, one of the few female border operators in Eldoret town, notes that society seems not ready to accept them into the industry.
Kuna biasness, kuna wale makastoma wenye hata hawawezi kubali umbebe because wanaona a lady ananibeba. So but Kenya ningependa kuwashua watu ni kwamba ladies they are slow, yes, but at least tutafika kwenye tunaenda. At least we are those riders wenye tunaenda pole lakini tutafika kwenye tunataka kuenda. Boda ni kazi. Na ni kazi ile at least inakusaidia na unapata yenye ni yako, especially ukipata kama pikipiki ni yako kama mimi. Inakusaidia, unaingiza pesa yenye ni yako. At the end of the day unahesabu pesa yako, unapata umepata kitu yenye inakusaidia. What really made me to ride a boda ni kwa sababu kazi hakuna Kenya. Na at least inaniingizia mapato, na hata kama sisi wanawake tuko na challenges, tunajaribu kujikaza ndo at least tupate mapato, tusomeshe watoto. Yeah.
Changamoto ambayo sana tunapitia kama wanabodaboda kwa kukosa elimu ya jambo inaitwa gender ni kwamba utakuta ambapo bodaboda ama abiria ameboard ile pikipiki, kwa sababu ya yule rider kukosa hii mafunzo, utakuta hajafanya kazi yake ya kumbeba kumpeleka destination mahali ameenda. Ameanza kumtongoza direct, anamuuliza madam, habari, nipe namba yako, sijui hivi. Hiyo si kazi yake. Kazi yake ilikuwa ni ambebe ampeleke.
Hapa Uasin Gishu County, kwa sababu ya culture, kwa sababu ya traditions na kwa sababu ya vile tumekuwa oriented socially na society yetu, mwanamke ako na zile specific roles, so that ukipata mwanamke ako na interest ya kuingia kwa hii sekta ya bodaboda, it is not something that is welcomed so well. Wanabodaboda ambao wengi wao ni wanawake, wanaume wanaangalia, wanaona mwanamke haezi fanya hii kazi vizuri.
The civil society reference group Kenya has called on leaders in the country to play easy politics as the country enters a critical stage towards the general election in 2022. Speaking in Nairobi County, the presiding convener, David Otieno, took issue with how the politics of the country was being run, while also urging the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to come clear on the voter registration exercise that is still a battle between the Commission and the court.
We are worried that the organs of the government that are supposed to mitigate or to address these issues seems to be politically captured, and therefore they lack the mandate to address these issues. So what we are trying to say that we need to depoliticize some of these institutions like NCIC, the police, and those who are concerned with ensuring that there is law and order. Because when we are having situations where those in those organs who should be addressing these issues are taking political sides, then they now lose their grounds to be arbiters to these situations. And therefore we are calling for those who are in these offices who are interested in politics, they should resign and let professionals and people who can be able to bring harmony and order to occupy those positions. And we are worried that the war between the legislature, the judiciary and the executive is hampering the war on corruption, because we are seeing political leaders being arrested based on their affiliations, so that the war has been weaponized and has been politicized, such that there are people who have been adversely mentioned on allegations of corruption, but some of them aren't being arrested maybe because they are politically correct, while others are being taken to courts. The war on corruption cannot be won with selective, addressing the issue of corruption. And we, as a civil society, we are calling for the strengthening of the institutions that are supposed to lead the war on corruption.
Elections that are coming next year, there will be a lot of infringement on free speech and free expression. And we want to voice this, that the citizenry of Kenya must be allowed to have free speech, to think freely, and to be able to associate freely with whichever political affiliations that they may want, without anyone infringing on their rights to choose where to be.
The National Drought Management Authority in Laikipia County has launched a livestock offtake program in collaboration with the Kenya Meat Commission in an effort to salvage livestock farmers from incurring huge losses as a result of drought that has hit parts of the county. According to Laikipia's NDMA's coordinator, Guyo Gulicha, most parts of Laikipia North were facing hunger as a result of the ongoing drought, and hence the move to start the livestock offtake program. He noted that NDMA and KMC were first targeting at least 400 heads of cattle weighing about 150 kilograms live weight, but the number will be increased in due course. Further, they observed that the government was working with community groups to build their capacity and encourage them to venture into other profit-making activities, such as beekeeping that would withstand such harsh climate conditions.
Wakati hii tuko katika hali ya ukame sasa kwa mwezi mbili, na hasa ile sehemu ambayo imeathirika kabisa ni Mogogodo East, Mogogodo West, Segera, Salama na area ya Olmoran ambayo tumeona imeathirika kabisa, na tumekuwa na kamati ya kupambana na ukame katika ofisi. Tumeweza kukutana kutoka idara mbalimbali, kutoka sekta mbalimbali ya kilimo, ya mifugo, ya usalama, ya elimu, na tumeweza kuwa na mpango mbalimbali hasa kupambana na hii hali ya ukame. Jambo ambayo tumefanya zaidi kutoka pande yetu ya National Drought Management Authority, ya kwanza ni tumehakikisha ya kwamba shule ambayo hazina maji, hospitali ambayo hazina maji, ECD ambayo hazina maji, tumehakikisha ya kwamba zimepewa maji, na tunafanya ile inaitwa water tracking katika hizo area. Na pia tumeweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba storage facilities kwa shule 5, kila shule tukupatia tanki 2 ya lita 10,000 na kuweka gathering, so that baada ya hata hii ukame tuweze kupata mvua tuweze kufanya storage mzuri ili wananchi waweze kupata maji. Vile umesikia bwana county commissioner amesema tumeweza kupata chakula pia, na sub counties nyingi zimeweza kugawa na wananchi wamepata chakula, na pia kupitia idara ya Kenya Meat Commission pia katika hizo area tumeweza kuhakikisha kwamba ng'ombe zile zinakonda zinanunuliwa. Kwa sasa ununuzi inaendelea kwa ng'ombe moja shilingi 20,000, na tunataraji kuanza na ng'ombe 400 tukiendelea kuongeza na kadhalika. Kwa hivyo hilo ndio jambo ambayo kwa sasa inaendelea.
Tunazungumza na wananchi ili kupata changamoto zao zingine. Kuna kiangazi kinaadhiri area hii, na wiki jana katibu mkuu katika wizara husika mambo ya chakula cha msaada na mikasa aliweza kutuhakikishia kwamba sehemu hii watatuma chakula ili kukinga wale wananchi wameadhirika na chakula. Hivyo basi tunaomba wale kidogo wameingia wizi kidogo ya kuvuna chakula kwa mashamba za wenyewe, mahindi, wakome haya. Hizi ripoti zitolewe kwa chief ili tuweze kuzungumzia hili swala kama serikali na kulishughulikia, kwa sababu kivuna chakula kutoka shamba la mwenyewe inaleta taharuki, inaleta ukosefu wa kuaminiana. It creates a lot of mistrust and friction among the society members here. Haya ni mambo wananchi tumewaelezea, na wiki jana tumegawa chakula, mchere, maharagwe na mafuta, na utakuwa ni mgao wa kila mwezi mpaka wananchi wapite wakati huu mgumu wameadhirika na kiangazi.
Two leaders in Narok County who were awarded medals and certificates of recognition during the Mashujaa Day celebrations were officially handed over the awards by the Narok County Commissioner Evans Achoki. The two Ma Council of Elders Chairman Kelena Olenchoy and Miss Eunice Selewan Marima were recognized for their great contribution initiating programs that unite the nation. The two leaders who were to travel to Kirinyaga County for the Mashujaa celebrations could not travel because of COVID-19 regulations. The two leaders lauded the president for honoring them, promising to continue with their efforts of building the nation.
Wauliza tu mutumie nafasi hii na tuzo hii kuendelea kuhudumikia wananchi wa Narok County na vile pia wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Hasa msimu huu ambao tuko ni msimu ambao tumeingia msimu wa siasa. Ningeliomba tu muweze kutoa mwongozo wa kulete wananchi pamoja, kuweka amani na kuhakikisha kwamba kila mtu ana nafasi yake ya kutafuta shughuli zake.
The time it has come that we get appreciated in order to continue, not to pull down our socks, but to continue with the calling of service, because it says service to man is service to God. And I'm very happy. I cannot boast that to say I've worked enough. I've not yet done enough.
Nashukuru sana, nimetambuliwa, jamii sote wamefurahi, Council of Elders, wote kwa jumla, kwangu kutuswa na hata mama pia, na kwa hivyo tunashukuru kwa sababu hatujasahaulika na tumetambuliwa kwa yale ambayo tumefanya kufanyia nchi hii ya Kenya.
A family in Siaya County is in pain after failing to find the whereabouts of their kin for a period of 2 weeks since she went missing. According to Jeremiah Opado, brother to the missing Scholastica Opado, the 16th of October incident has left them with worries and uncertainties following the disappearance of Scholastica. It is alleged that the husband to Scholastica went to Ndere Boys Primary School, where the missing lady teaches, and convinced the school head teacher to allow him to live with the wife. This happened 9 months after the couple separated due to misunderstandings in the family. The police at Yala Police Station have been looking for the lost for the lost 40-year-old teacher without any success. The family has appealed to anyone with information on the whereabouts of Scholastica Opado to report to any police station and help trace her.
On their way home, the husband is reported to have beaten her, and even the boda man was almost losing balance and fell off from the road. The husband to my sister started beating my sister seriously until the boda man went home to call the members of the family to come and help. Some members of the family came and they rescued my sister from the hands of the husband, and thereafter the boda man left.
I've reported this to the Yala police station, and they have done their best, but so far we have not seen her dead or alive.
And we do hope that she will be found alive and well. Let's look at international news. Keeping up with the COP26 climate summit, the influential International Energy Agency has said that if promises made at COP26 are fully kept, they would limit global warming to 1.8 degrees Celsius. This comes on day 5 of the Global Climate Summit, with the focus on energy and how the world can move away from fossil fuels. More than 40 countries have committed to shifting away from coal, but huge users and producers like China, India, Australia, and the US have not signed up. The meetings in Glasgow come against the backdrop of a global energy crisis, with gas prices surging amidst the pandemic recovery. The first pill designed to treat symptomatic COVID has been approved by the United Kingdom medicines regulator. The tablet, known as Molnupiravir, will be given twice a day to vulnerable patients recently diagnosed with the disease. In clinical trials, the pill, originally developed to treat flu, cuts the risk of hospitalization or death by about half. The UK is now the first country in the world to approve an antiviral that can be taken at home for COVID. The new treatment targets an enzyme that the virus uses to make copies of itself, introducing errors into its genetic code. That should prevent it from multiplying, so keeping virus levels low in the body and reducing the severity of the disease. The drug needs to be given within 5 days of symptoms developing to be most effective. And back to Africa, as Ethiopia marked its first anniversary of the conflict in Tigray region, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called on its citizens to fight and defeat the Tigray People Liberation Front, that is TPLF rebels. On Tuesday, Ethiopia declared a state of emergency, with forces from the northern region of Tigray threatening to advance on the capital Addis Ababa after claiming control of key northern towns. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni is calling for an East African Leaders Summit on November 16th to discuss the conflict in Ethiopia. Meanwhile, the U.S. Embassy in Ethiopia has authorized the voluntary departure of non-emergency government staff and family members because of armed conflict, it said on its website, as rebel forces in the country's north make advances. The decision came after the United States on Wednesday expressed concerns about the escalating violence and expansion of hostilities, repeating a call for a halt to military operations in favor of ceasefire talks. On that note, let's take another break on Newswatch tonight. We'll be back with business news.
Our Christian life is not just about God always stepping in when you are in trouble. But sometimes you need to go through the valley of the shadow of death, and God will say, angels, stand away. He must go through that. She must go through that. Because out of this would come something greater and more beautiful.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, powerful worship, only on Extended Worship.
Dad! Gari mpya!
Umetoa wapi gari mpya?
Optiven wametusort.
Optiven?
Nunua any of our value-added properties ama redeem installment ya property yako. Kwa kila malipo ya 10,000 unapata 1 entry point kwenye draw ya furahia na Optiven promotion. Airtime kushindaniwa kila siku, holiday kila wiki, shinda ploti na gari kila mwezi, na grand prize ya Mercedes-Benz C180. Ni rahisi, buy ama redeem na ushinde na furahia na Optiven.
Fish farmers in Siaya County have received a 100,000 fingerlings donation as the Principal Secretary in the State Department of Fisheries, Dr. Francis Owino, called for close partnership with the private sector to address challenges facing the sector. The Principal Secretary said that the growing focus and shift from the capture fisheries to aquaculture occasioned by the increased pressure on the county's water bodies that include Lake Victoria has of late seen more and more involvement and interventions by the private sector.
The great investment made by factory farms, among other private sectors, and the impact they are making on the livelihoods of communities in this area. From provision of employment opportunities, great market for cash by our local fishers and farmers, providing quality fishes to promoting technology transfer, among others. I want to applaud these private entrepreneurs for the valuable input they are bringing into this sector.
Challenges include issues of feeds, quality feeds, and the county is trying to address this through bringing together the feed millers, talking to the farmers who produce some of the ingredients for the manufacture of these feeds, so that they enhance production.
Minet Kenya Insurance Brokers Limited has been declared and awarded as the overall Best Intermediary of the Year in the 2020 Annual Intermediaries Awards by UAP Insurance Kenya Limited. The broker who met the required parameters of the program was awarded with a brand new car, VW Polo. The annual awards conveyed all the key intermediate distribution channels, including brokers, independent agents, tied agents, banks, as well as alternative channels.
Based on the partnership we've had with UAP Old Mutual for the last many years, it's a partnership that has been growing, and it feels really good that we've been recognized and awarded as the best intermediary for the year. The relationship we've had with UAP Old Mutual has been based on a lot of professionalism, customer service, ensuring our customers are getting the best service at all times. They are very responsive, and because of that, we really, like working with them. And I think from today's awards, you can tell that, it's a good partnership.
At the beginning of the year, we set out the award criteria and therefore the ultimate award based on the point garnered by the different intermediaries. So as I said, we look at credit control. Are we able to collect premiums on time? Is the intermediary paying their premiums? We look at the growth of business over the prior year. We look at the profitability of the portfolio, because as you understand, health insurance runs on a very low margin. So all those parameters then determine the ultimate award, which we determine at the beginning of the year and then award at the end of the year.
Kenya Electricity Generating Company KenGen Managing Director and CEO Rebecca Miano says the company is accelerating deployment of renewable energy to combat the adverse effects of climate change. Speaking during a panel discussion under the theme Accelerating Clean Technology, Innovation and Deployment at the COP26 World Leaders Summit in Glasgow, Scotland, Miano said KenGen is committed to the fight against climate change and is supporting the government of Kenya's ambition to achieve 100% utilization of renewable energy by 2030.
Our country is well endowed with renewable energy resources, and therefore our future plans are to develop more renewable energy. In fact, our project pipeline is all green, from geothermal, wind, solar, and some hydro. And KenGen works with both state and non-state actors in support of technologies to make them the most affordable, accessible, and attractive. And the role of the state actors in Kenya includes, among others, sourcing concessionary funding from development partners for development of clean energy, creating an enabling environment and formulating policies in support of clean technologies, and also appropriate fiscal incentives that promote clean technologies for sustainable solutions. And KenGen has also explored several opportunities with non-state actors, including financial markets, and has over the years raised funds for green energy projects through various financial instruments. We also work with technology providers for innovative clean energy solutions, including the sizing of our power plants, geothermal reservoir modeling, and even automation of operations and maintenance of our power plants through Internet of Things. I am happy to confirm that we have already commenced sharing our expertise and skills in geothermal in order to accelerate clean energy innovation in the region. In this regard, we are currently providing geothermal drilling services, geoscientific consultancy services, and capacity building in some countries in support of renewable energy deployment through their geothermal resource development.
Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwendwa has today honored a summon by the Committee on Labour and Social Welfare over the inspection of the Federation at the Senate chambers. Mwendwa was summoned alongside the Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohamed to appear before the Johnson Sakaja-led committee to shed light on the ongoing row between the Federation and the Ministry of Sports.
It is false to create an impression that we are not accountable or don't do any returns, because by regulation, if you don't give any return for a single event, you won't be funded again. So I want to say that we have been accountable and we have been making these returns, and the only interaction between us, the ministry, regarding money is the national teams. Now we have the counties, we have leagues, we have so many other things we do, coaching courses. Today as I speak to you, 5 coaching courses are going on across the country. They are not funded by government. They are funded by sponsors, like senators or MPs like you, who sponsor their people. Then they come to us, we give instructors, and when we give instructors, they come to the ground, and you normally pay for the accommodation, pay for those people to come, but we come in place, provide instructors to train them.
If the process is wrong, the decision cannot be correct. That's the importance of fair administrative action. Okay,
let me just. So where is this fear of an end? And I really I want also to hear that from the Cabinet Secretary when she comes. And I suspect she's following, or our people are following this process. Of course, they should, because they are going to respond to this process. Okay. Where is the fear from your side as FKF?
Yeah. And in my writing of this question, I looked at it from a very legal eye, and I want to clarify. The Constitution, the right of a fair trial, is one of the fundamental rights that does not have any inhibition under Article 25. Now, in fact, under Article 22, your right doesn't have to be violated for you to seek redress. Even a threat of violation of the right of a fair trial, you have a right to seek redress. My state is, even fair administrative action, and Senator Mokom and I spend a lot of time drafting the fair administrative action law. So a threat to a fair trial is enough to nullify the process itself.
Still in sports, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta yesterday received the Birmingham 2022 Queen's Relay baton at State House, Nairobi. This comes just a day after it arrived in the country from Cameroon for its 8th stop in its 269-day tour of the 72 Commonwealth nations and territories. The ceremony at State House marked the end of the Relay Batons tour of Kenya before its handing over to Uganda today.
The Queen's Baton it has been a tradition that we have been celebrating for so many years across the member countries for so many years. And it has a very special message to all of us who are participating in the Commonwealth Games, and especially that as we are preparing for the Birmingham Championship next year, I want to say that we will be ready, and all these young people will be able to support and be able to participate in the same.
The theme of the Kenya Tour Relay is sustainability, youth, inclusion, and culture, which highlights the diversity of competition. It embraces the spirit of friendly rivalry and enhances strong bonds of friendship. It reminds us of our individual and collective responsibility of inclusion across all continents and nations and all races. Over the past 2 days, the relay teams, with cheer and celebration, have hosted the baton at special sites in Nairobi through festivals depicting sports and culture. The baton bearers are children and youth, embracing all persons, including those who are differently abled. This demonstrates our commitment towards the spirit and theme of the Commonwealth Games.
And Harambee Stars captain Michael Olunga scored twice and assisted on the third one as 10-man Al Duhail rallied to hold champions Al Sadd 3-3 in a thrilling Qatar Stars League match last night. Hosts Al Duhail fell behind to an early goal from last season's top scorer Algerian Baghdad in the 4th minute. Olunga equalized in the 24th minute from an Edmilson Jr. corner before taking Al Duhail into the halftime break, leading 2-1. And that was your sports. We have come to the end of Newswatch tonight. On behalf of the whole team, many thanks for keeping us company and watching. I'm Tess Njenga and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night and God bless you. Here is tomorrow's weather forecast.